you outgrow the friendship. As people evolve, their beliefs, routines, priorities, and emotional needs shift. This natural growth can create distance in friendships that once felt inseparable. Outgrowing a friend doesn't mean there's conflict. It simply means the version of you that once matched their energy no longer fits as perfectly. You may discover new passions, become more self-aware, or move toward goals that they no longer understand or support. This creates a subtle emotional mismatch. The friendship doesn't feel bad, but it feels like the rhythm is off. You're moving forward while they're either staying the same or moving in a different direction. Science behind it. Psychologists call this developmental and emotional drift. Your identity is always updating, and your brain reorganizes which relationships support that identity. When a friend no longer aligns with your sense of self, the emotional bond weakens. Attachment theory adds that people seek relationships that match their current needs for support, stability, and growth. If someone no longer provides those feelings, the attachment system softens the bond to make room for new, more aligned connections. For example, you become more focused on self-improvement, reading, working out, working on mental health, while your friend still wants to party, gossip, or avoid responsibility. Conversations become shallow. You feel like you're moving forward while they feel stuck. You don't fight, you just drift. Another example is you get serious about your career, goals, or family life, and your friend still expects you to be available 24/7 like before. They may feel replaced, but the truth is your life has shifted and the friendship hasn't grown with it. How you can stop this? Create intentional time together when friendships start to fade. It's usually not because of a big fight, it's because life gets busy, schedules don't line up, and connection becomes accidental instead of intentional. Setting aside actual time, even if it's just an hour, tells your brain this relationship still matters. Detachment often happens when interactions become rare. Consistency helps rebuild emotional closeness. Find new shared interests so the friendship evolves with you. A lot of people detach from friends because the old things that bonded you don't fit here anymore. Maybe you're not into partying or they're in a different life phase. That doesn't mean the friendship is over, it just needs new fuel. Shared activities create shared memories, and shared memories create emotional connection. Evolving together is a powerful way to prevent drifting apart. Have a conversation acknowledging that things feel different, but still valuable. Sometimes detachment comes from unspoken tension. Did I do something? Are we still close? Why does this feel weird? A simple conversation can reset the energy. Naming the shift takes away the awkwardness and gives both sides space to be honest. It reminds you both that change doesn't mean the relationship has lost its value, it just needs recalibration. Be honest about what you need emotionally at this stage of life. People change emotionally every few years. What you needed from friends at 18 is not what you need at 25 or 30. Detachment often comes from not voicing those new emotional needs. Support, consistency, deeper conversations, or even more space. When you share what you actually need, your friendships can adjust. When you don't, they feel mismatched and you drift. Emotional burnout from a one-sided friendship. If you're always the one giving support, energy, advice, reassurance, rides, money, or emotional labor, the friendship becomes unbalanced. Over time, you start feeling drained, unappreciated, or even used. Detachment becomes an emotional survival mechanism. You may not want to pull away, but your body and mind quietly do it for you. Science behind this. Emotional burnout happens because the brain has a limited capacity for empathy and stress processing. When you're constantly giving more than you're receiving, your nervous system experiences emotional exhaustion. Attachment theory explains that one-sided relationships trigger insecure attachment responses, especially if your needs go unmet. Your body interprets the imbalance as unsafe and begins distancing you to protect you from damage. For example, your friend constantly vents but never checks on you. They trauma dump daily, but if you share something personal, they respond with "you'll be fine." Eventually, you start replying less because you no longer have the emotional bandwidth. Another example is you always initiate plans, reach out, and fix every conflict. If you stop trying, the friendship collapses. This makes you feel like you're carrying the whole relationship alone, so you begin to detach simply to rest. How you can stop this? Set boundaries around emotional labor. If a friend constantly vents or leans on you, but never supports you back, you burn out. Setting boundaries simply means limiting how much emotional weight you carry. It protects your energy so the friendship doesn't drain you. Ask for reciprocity. I need support sometimes too. Friendships are supposed to go both ways. Sometimes people don't realize they're taking more than they give. Asking for reciprocity helps reset the dynamic and reminds them that you also have needs. Slow down your effort and see if they step up. If you're the only one initiating or maintaining the friendship, pause and give them room to show what they're willing to put in. This helps you see whether the relationship is actually mutual or if it only works when you're doing all the work. Be honest. I'm feeling drained in our friendship. Sometimes the fastest path to fixing the problem is naming it. Being honest about feeling drained opens the door to healthier communication and gives the friendship a chance to improve instead of quietly fading. Life transitions change your capacity. Life changes shape friendships more than we realize. When you enter a new chapter, starting college, getting a job, moving cities, becoming a parent, healing from trauma, or focusing on mental health, you naturally reshuffle your emotional and time availability. Your priorities shift, and the friendships that once fit perfectly may no longer fit into your schedule or emotional space. Science behind it. This is driven by social homeostasis, the brain's way of regulating how many active social bonds you can maintain. In periods of transition, your brain reduces your social output to prevent emotional overload. Attachment systems also shift, prioritizing people who give the most stability during new life stages. For example, you move to a new city. Your old friends still expect constant communication, but your brain is focused on adjusting, surviving, and grounding yourself in a new environment. You care about them, but your capacity has changed. Another example is you start a demanding job or school program. Your schedule becomes unpredictable. Even if you love your friends, you simply don't have the same free time or mental energy to maintain the connection. How you can stop this? Communicate clearly that your life is shifting. A lot of friendship tension during life transitions comes from silence. When you don't explain what's changing your schedule, your stress level, or your emotional bandwidth, friends may assume you're losing interest. Communicating openly helps them understand that the distance isn't about them, it's about the season you're in. A simple explanation can prevent misunderstandings and resentment. Create a routine like weekly calls or monthly hangouts. When life gets unpredictable, structure becomes your friend. Instead of trying to catch up whenever, which rarely happens during busy seasons, create set touchpoints. A Sunday call, a monthly coffee date, or a bi-weekly check-in keeps the friendship alive without requiring constant effort. Routines reduce pressure while still maintaining connection. Let friends know they still matter. During transitions, people often assume they're being replaced or forgotten. Small gestures, sending a quick text, checking in when something important happens to them, or expressing that you still value the friendship, go a long way. Reassurance helps maintain emotional closeness even when physical time is limited. Be honest that your capacity is different, not your love for them. This is one of the most important pieces. You can care deeply about a friend and still have less time or energy than before. Being honest about this prevents guilt on your end and confusion on theirs. It sets realistic expectations and keeps the friendship grounded in understanding rather than assumptions. It tells them, I'm still here, just in a different way right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember not to blame yourself for what you can't control. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below if you can relate to this.